Hello, everybody. This is Don Mark Lane with Accountability Now, and welcome to the Morning Jolt, where we give you small tidbits of data, information, and inspiration to make better decisions today. It's a tactical podcast about making today better today. And we're going to talk about something that comes up a lot. In our business coaching practice, we work with small businesses all over the world, around 1 million in size, trying to grow to 10 million. And I get asked, I'll bet every single week, about what is the difference between a plan and strategy. I think it's something that is talked about in boardrooms. It's talked about in coffee shops. It's talked about, by entrepreneurs. It's talked about by entrepreneurs, people that want to be an entrepreneur. And hopefully today we're going to be able to really set the record straight for you to understand what is the difference between strategy and plan, and why they both matter and why they are very different. And there's a very crucial distinction that oftentimes gets blurred. And I think a lot of times it gets blurred because of hustle culture and this idea that we should be hustling and grinding all the time. And so we're going to go through kind of five key talking points around this that'll help understand it and hopefully give some structure to the discussion. But first, I want to talk about the first point, which is strategy is the map, plan is the road. So imagine a strategy is, and this is an old reference. Some of you might not gather this reference, but imagine strategy is the map that you might spread on the hood of your car. I remember years ago when my wife and I were traveling across country. This was in the late 90s, early 2000s. We were driving from Salt Lake City, Utah to her home in Fredericksburg, Virginia. And this was before GPS in cars and navigation in cars. And so we actually had to have one of these big, maps out of a big book, and we had to follow along the road and map out our entire trek. That was the way they did it back in the day, and that was only, 25 years ago. Well, that is strategy. That's the map, that hardcore map showing all the possible routes to get to your destination. Shows all of them. Every single path we could have taken. I-80, we could have gone south through, Oklahoma, we could have gone north through Chicago, which is what we did. There were so many things we could have done. Now, what's the plan? The plan is the specific route that you choose, the actual roads you will take to get there. Sun Tzu, he wrote his book, The Art of War, which I'm sure many of you have read. He puts it brilliantly. Strategy without tactics is the slowest route to victory. Tactics without strategy is the noise before defeat. This tells us about the harmony, to bring in music, the harmony needed between our overarching goals and the steps to achieve them. So now let me talk about the second point, strategy. Strategy is about choices. Plan is about actions. And notice those differences. Okay. Strategy is about choices. Plan is about actions. Michael E. Porter once said, the essence of strategy is choosing what not to do. It's not so much, sometimes it's not so much about what you do, it's about choosing what not to do. Strategy involves setting priorities, deciding where to focus your energy and resources. But your plan, meanwhile, is about executing those choices through specific actions. I'm going to want you to underline that plan is about actions, specific actions. Now, third point is about this term adaptability. Strategy is adaptive, plan is operational. Strategies need the flexibility to respond to this ever changing environment that we're in. I mean, you think about it. A year ago, ChatGPT started to explode. 2 years ago, no one ever had uttered the word ChatGPT. 3 years ago, we were amidst in a global pandemic, an ever-changing environment. Strategy changes, but plans, how However, they are the operational steps that bring that strategy to life. Keep them consistent. I'm a literature nut. I read a lot, and there's an author, William Faulkner. I love how he captures this. Listen to what he said. You cannot swim for new horizons until you have the courage to lose sight of the shore. It's one of my favorite Faulkner quotes. And this speaks to the courage required in strategy to seek out, take risks, and find new things. And that's what strategy is all about, to seek new things. Whereas the plan is about the consistent execution of that courage. Now, fourth point is about depth, the depth behind our decisions. Strategy requires insight, but plan requires detail. And this is where sometimes entrepreneurs, visionaries, to quote Rocket Fuel by Gino Wickman, these big thinkers fall off. Strategy requires insight, but plan requires detail. When you're developing a strategy, it demands this deep understanding of your situation and conceptions and big thinking, really deep thinking. Whereas planning, you've got to have nitty gritty details of execution. Joel A. Barker sums this brilliantly, where he says, vision without action is merely a dream, but action without vision just passes the time. Vision with action can change the world. This highlights just this transformative power of combining insightful strategy with actionable plans. The visionaries listening, you entrepreneurs listening, I love how excited you get about your strategy. Make sure when you're creating your plans, you've got somebody with you. An integrator is what Traction would call it. Somebody who's got the nitty gritty detail to put those plans, those strategies into action, into the plan. Lastly, final point, I want to talk about success, getting it over the top. Your strategy is the definition of your success, but your plan measures it. I'm going to say that again because I want to make sure you get it. You can underline it. Strategy defines your success. Your plan measures it. Your strategy outlines what success looks like on your terms, setting the ultimate objectives. The plan, on the other hand, tracks your progress towards these goals. Winston Churchill gives this brilliant dose of reality where he said, however beautiful the strategy, you should occasionally look at the results. And I love that. Okay. He's just got that little wink there that remember your strategy will define how you're going to succeed, but your plan will measure whether or not you did. You cannot just have a great strategy. You have to have a plan to execute, and your execution will be the difference maker on whether or not you are a success. You want more content? Please leave a review and subscribe on Apple or Spotify or all other major podcasts. You can follow me on Forbes. You can follow me on Twitter at Don Markland, or we're very active on Instagram, executivecoach.don, or TikTok. You can go to our website if you're looking for business coaching or sales coaching help or operations. We have fractional work now where we're helping companies all over the world with their operations. Accountabilitynow.net. We are the greatest coaching company in the world. And as always, this is your morning jolt.